Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome to today's explainer. If you're watching this right now, chances are you or someone you really love might be navigating a pretty profound life transition. Inheriting a home, well, it carries the full weight of a life lived, doesn't it? It holds decades of memories, family history, and honestly, a whole lot of mixed emotions. So, let's dive into this together. Today, we're going to walk through this complex journey, and I want to be clear right up front. There's no pressure here, no urgency. We're just going to focus on clarity and care, helping you feel totally informed and supported every single step of the way. This quote right here really hits the nail on the head. Nobody really prepares you for the moment a home becomes yours through loss. One day, it belongs to your parents or a loved one, and suddenly, literally after one phone call, it's yours. I really want to validate just how completely overwhelming that can feel. It is a massive financial transition, sure, but it's an even bigger emotional one. So the absolute most crucial point I want you to hear today is this. You do not have to rush. You really don't have to figure it all out in those first few weeks. Okay, let's move into section 1, 3 families, 3 outcomes. We're going to look at some real stories of inherited homes. First up, there's Margaret. When her mother passed away, she left behind a house that had been in their family for 40 years. Margaret was grieving, she was overwhelmed, and you can totally understand why. So when a friendly neighbor knocked on her door just 2 weeks later with a fast cash offer, she felt this huge sense of relief and just said yes. But fast forward 6 months, and Margaret realized she had left a really substantial amount of money on the table because that home had appreciated significantly. And even worse, she hadn't spoken to a tax advisor before signing the paperwork. See, Margaret missed this completely game-changing concept called the step-up in basis. Simply put, this is a vital tax provision that resets an inherited home's value to its current market value at the exact time of inheritance. This one simple rule often dramatically reduces or even completely eliminates capital gains tax. Because Margaret sold so quickly without looping in a CPA, she ended up paying taxes on a gain she likely didn't owe a dime on. Now, selling quickly isn't inherently wrong, but selling without professional guidance, that is almost always a costly mistake. Now, take David and his 2 sisters. They inherited their parents' home jointly, but unfortunately, there was no will. David wanted to sell immediately. His oldest sister really wanted to keep it in the family, and the youngest sister just felt totally caught in the middle. Without a clear agreement or a legally binding will, the whole situation was basically thrown into legal limbo. What followed was a really stressful 8-month ordeal of legal uncertainty that severely strained their relationships. Inherited properties can become a real tangled web when ownership is suddenly split among grieving relatives. But here's the good news. For those of you in Illinois, there's actually a way to avoid David's situation completely. It's an amazing tool called the TODI, or Transfer on Death Instrument. Think of it as the Illinois Fast Pass. A homeowner simply signs and records this document while they are still living, clearly naming who inherits the property. They keep total control while they're alive, but the second they pass, the house legally transfers to the heirs in a matter of days. It completely bypasses probate court. And yes, the heirs still get that crucial step up in basis. Honestly, it's one of the smartest, most practical steps a senior homeowner can take. And finally, we have Jonathan. When he inherited his aunt's mortgage-free condo, his gut instinct was just to sell it and be done with it. But his senior real estate specialist suggested he hit the brakes and look at the bigger picture. The neighborhood was really stable, and the rental market there was incredibly strong. So, after having a good chat with a financial advisor, Jonathan decided to hold on to the property and rent it out. Today, that rental income is meaningfully padding his retirement savings. He essentially turned a sudden, overwhelming inheritance into a lasting financial opportunity, just by taking a beat and gathering the facts first. All right, let's transition to section 2, understanding the numbers, and reminding you that you are absolutely not alone in this process. According to a really interesting survey by Trust and Well, over 70% of inherited properties eventually result in some kind of real estate transaction. But take a look at how this breaks down. While 56% of heirs ended up selling the property, a massive chunk, 44%, made a completely different choice, just like Jonathan did. That's almost half. I think this perfectly proves that there is no single right answer for everyone. The only right choice is the one you make deliberately, with all the facts in front of you, and completely free of pressure. And just to really validate how common this shared experience is right now, Catality's 2025 property transfer report logged 340,000 inherited properties across the U.S. in a single year. To put that into perspective, that represents over 7% of all property transfers, an all-time high. So if you're sitting at your kitchen table right now, drinking a cup of coffee and just agonizing over what to do, please hear this. Hundreds of thousands of families are having these exact same deeply complex conversations right now. Moving on to Section 3, 3 questions to ask first. Let's help you find your footing before you make any decisions. Question number 1. What does the tax picture actually look like? Remember Margaret's story and that amazing step-up in basis rule. It is absolutely essential to sit down with a CPA who actually has real estate experience. You really need to understand your potential capital gains liability before you ever agree to a sale. Question number 2. Is there a will, and is probate going to be required? Specific state probate rules, like the ones we talked about in Illinois, dictate exactly how quickly and cleanly a property can be transferred or sold. Having an estate attorney provide some clarity on this early on, it's literally invaluable and can save you months of unnecessary confusion. And question number 3, actually, this might be the most critical one of the whole shebang. What does everyone involved actually want? Navigating this with multiple heirs is an emotional minefield. Taking the time for really honest, patient family conversations long before anyone hammers a for sale sign into the front yard can prevent so much heartache down the road. And hey, it's totally okay if everyone isn't magically on the same page on day one. Which brings us to our final section, taking your next steps. Let's explore some supportive resources for the journey ahead. I want you to know that you don't have to do this all on your own. There are some fantastic, totally free guides out there to help you out. If you're stressed about sibling dynamics, look up Managing Conflict When Selling a Parent's Home. If just the thought of sorting through a lifetime of your loved one's belongings makes you want to cry, a guide called What to Do with What's Not Going With You walks you through it so gently and practically. And for a great big picture view, AARP offers a wonderful personal finance guide tailored for seniors. As we wrap up, I really want to circle back to the core message of our time together today. You do not have to rush. The right information brings clarity. Your absolute best first step isn't signing a contract or listing the house. It's simply gathering the facts, taking a deep breath, and building a trusted team of professionals. Finding a CPA, an estate attorney, and a specialized real estate professional who can guide you with real compassion is going to make all the difference. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Whatever decision you make it with your eyes open. My only goal today is to make sure you feel informed and supported. So I have to ask, what kind of legacy do you want to leave for your family? And are you taking the steps today to protect it? Whenever you feel ready, I warmly invite you to utilize any of the free resources we chatted about today to help you take that next gentle step. Take care of yourself, and remember, take your time.